Salam alaikum, bonjour, this is Lamia. Welcome to 7 Years in Saudi podcast. Today we have a special guest. His name is Coach Remus Courbet. He was my first ever teacher in Jiu-Jitsu in Kuwait. And today I am spending a wonderful time learning about some question I had about Jiu-Jitsu. And I hope you will understand how valuable it can be. Let me show you some videos and pictures about how Coach Remus is teaching kids and adults, women, this wonderful art of Jiu-Jitsu. And then I will let you dive with him and learn a bit more about Jiu-Jitsu. Hi, Coach Remus. How are you?
Hi, Lamia. Good to see you. Thank you very much for the invitation.
Thanks to you. I'm so happy to meet you again. I didn't speak with you since, 2022 when I left Kuwait. And you were the person who could help me find another jiu-jitsu teacher here in Jeddah. So thank you for that. And as you were my first teacher, my first coach in jiu-jitsu, I wanted people to know more about jiu-jitsu because I believe you have some gems of wisdom and all your experience in jiu-jitsu that could help people know more about it, because I found out that it's not that well known, especially with moms and the people around us. So, and I remember one thing very particular with you is on your website, when I was looking for jiu-jitsu classes in Kuwait, you were specifically asking to first answer a very important question. Why, before starting jiu-jitsu, why jiu-jitsu? Why start? Can I
Um,
ask you why this question?
why jiu-jitsu? Yeah, it's a very good question. Um, Sometimes people they find me a little bit annoying because I ask a lot of whys.
Uh-huh.
I just try to find out where the student is coming from
Mm.
and how jiu-jitsu can help, um, improve the quality of their life. Uh, Over the time, I realized that jiu-jitsu means different things for different people.
Mm.
So what jiu-jitsu means for you might be different than what jiu-jitsu means for another person.
Okay.
If you ask me about my personal why, I chose jiu-jitsu because I felt it makes me a better person.
Okay.
Not necessarily, for the accomplishments as an athlete in jiu-jitsu, not necessarily for, um, athletic benefits, like physical strength, mobility, and this one. Just because at the end of a jiu-jitsu session, I feel much better than when I started the session. So
Okay.
to put it simple, jiu-jitsu helps me be a better person.
Okay. And how do you think it can be meaningful for kids and for women, because you have both, you coach both, not only men?
Um, I'm teaching uh, people of all ages. I
Mhm.
start, with people around like kids 5, 6 years old, depending on when they are ready for the training. I believe jiu-jitsu as as a martial art, it was created, to give a fighting chance to someone that's smaller into a fight or weaker into a fight. It, there's a very famous quote of the founder of Jiu-Jitsu, Helio Gracie, who says, like Jiu-Jitsu is for the weak, Jiu-Jitsu is for the children, Jiu-Jitsu is for the woman. Jiu-Jitsu is not necessarily the modern sport that we see nowadays. Jiu-Jitsu was a necessity for someone like a smaller frame or, fragile to have a fighting chance if it's needed, to be able to defend yourself. And the most rewarding, I would say, results I have when I work with kids and I help them, build their confidence to speak up, to communicate their boundaries, to uh, tell to, another kid that is perceived as being a bully to stop doing that. Jiu-Jitsu is not all the time about fighting. People, they limit Jiu-Jitsu only to fighting, but I believe the hardest thing for the kids nowadays is to teach them how to calmly and confidently, speak for themselves, not necessarily to fight. That's how I look at Jiu-Jitsu. Yes, Jiu-Jitsu it's a life skill from my point of view. It's a life skill that I'm a father now, and I have a 3.5 years old daughter, and I was taking her to swimming classes. And while sitting on the stands, I looked at her and I asked myself, why do I put her in swimming? Is it because I want her to eventually one day become an Olympian swimmer? Or is it because I want to make her feel comfortable around water when she's going to be by herself around water? And I said, yep, I put her in swimming classes because one day I will not be around to protect her. And I want to know that she's going to be safe if she's going to fall in water. And I look at Jiu-Jitsu for kids in the same way. I'm not starting kids Jiu-Jitsu with the hope of them becoming, world champions. I'm always telling the parents, think about that. You might not be able to protect your child 24/7. We drop the kids at school and we go to our jobs. And we want to make sure and to put our mind at ease that whenever my son or my daughter is in school or kindergarten or whatever, they know what they have to do to protect themselves. And that's how I see it.
That makes sense. That makes me understand how what I felt when I came to your dojo, and I felt absolutely no judgment. Um, I felt that I could be just myself and learn and make my mistakes. It was very easy to get around you, and now I understand your intention. Can you just tell me now? I understand that for you, jujitsu is to help people feel confident enough to just be themselves and not go for a fight, just to be safe and confident to feel safe, whatever happens. What makes it different from the other martial arts? Do you have experience with other martial arts? What's the hidden gem of jiu-jitsu? If you could explain.
Yes, over my uh, almost 40 years, I'm practicing martial arts, and I tried kind of all of them.
Ah.
Jiu-Jitsu is a little bit different than the rest of martial arts. So I started my first sport was wrestling, freestyle wrestling. I practiced it from when I was 5 till I was 19. Then I went to military school. Over there, I interacted, with judo, kickboxing, Muay Thai, and then MMA. It was not that popular at that time. It's very popular nowadays. And through MMA, I got into Jiu-Jitsu. If I have to pick, let's say, two things that I call them, like you said, the hidden gems of Jiu-Jitsu. First one is humility.
Okay.
Every class in Jiu-Jitsu, you are going to tap. You are going to realize that plans will not all the time will go your way. I have a plan to win the fight, but obviously, my opponent has a plan to win the fight. Sometimes plans will go my way, sometimes his way.
Mm.
And kind of teaches you to stay grounded and, to be humble and to appreciate. And the second one I will say is the respect part of the art. Because respect is what, connects us together. It's what brings us together. It what keeps us together. Like even yesterday I had a speech, for like to raise the anti-bullying awareness and to kind of teach kids about anti-bullying. And I said like, if we will try, to be a bit more kind or a bit more respectful,
Mm.
probably the bullying cases will go all the way down. I will say hidden gems of Jiu-Jitsu, respect and humility.
Okay. Humility, you said tap. For those who don't know, tapping is surrendering and accepting
Tapping
that we
means
are losing.
surrendering.
For the
Yes,
moms who don't know what it is.
true. Yes, yeah.
Okay, humility is kind of the top of a mountain that a lot of people don't get to find. It's not easy to be humble and accept that we don't know, right?
Yes, it's tough.
It's tough.
Yes, it's tough. Yeah.
How long does it
It's a
take?
fit. Well, I think, being humble depends on like all the time I think about, you know, confidence, humility, all the time they are contextual.
Mm,
Uh, but it's one thing when you are in a fight. Jiu-Jitsu is, I will say, a controlled environment when it's done in the gym,
mm.
but still exposes, your deepest fears, your insecurities will come, you have the tendency, to panic sometimes. Um, Jiu-Jitsu keeps your ego on check. If you come to the gym and you say, today I'm going to kind of tap everyone around, there's no way. Someone will tap you.
Ah.
Someone else will tap you for sure. So yeah, we always we have a logo next to the door, and we say like, check your ego before you step on the mat. Otherwise, Jiu-Jitsu will check it for you.
Okay. Okay.
And that kind of keeps, the practitioners, stay more grounded and humble themselves.
That comes to the first intention that you said with the founder of Jiu-Jitsu, who
Yes,
created it to give a chance to those who, on the paper, had no chance to win against, like David against Goliath, right? So
yes, yes.
when Goliath gets defeated by David, he's somehow his ego gets touched. Yes.
Forcefully, yes. Forcefully, yes.
It's very interesting. It's very interesting. Um, you are passionate about teaching kids anti-bullying to get strong enough. Can I ask you, what made you focus on that?
Um, the older I get and the more why question I'm asking myself, why I'm doing what I'm doing,
Mm,
I realize that I am passionate about teaching, especially kids and especially the self-defense, the anti-bullying self-defense program, because of a personal experience that I had when I was in my sixth grade.
mm,
Um, I was in a sixth grade in 1992. It's a very vivid memory for me. Um, at that time, people didn't know about bullying. The word bullying didn't exist. It was just fighting. Even though I was a national level wrestler, I was competing at local competition, national competition. I was a national champion for wrestling. And I was like a good athlete. Nobody taught me how to fight in a real fight at school or on the street. I thought, okay, these are sports and this is fighting. I'm going to stay away from fighting, and I'm just going to focus on my sports, kind of athletic career. There was an eighth grader that was very well known for rude behavior and constantly picking on, smaller kids at school. And it was a matter of time till he picked on me. Even though I knew how to fight, nobody taught me that there will be consequences, legal consequences of a fight. I wished I knew at that time what I'm teaching today, because this is the why I settled to Jiu-Jitsu and I'm teaching kids. When he picked on me and he hit me, I panicked. And instead of using my wrestling, I just looked around. I picked up a branch. It was the beginning of spring and they were trimming the trees. So they were full of branches on the floor where we were playing. And I picked a branch from the floor and I repeatedly hit him till he didn't move. And that's when I realized that my words and my actions will have severe consequences and they can impact the future of my life. He ended up badly hurt in the hospital and then ended up in the police station. And I was like very, 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 very close to end up in a juvenile prison.
Okay.
And it's, I will say, the why behind I'm teaching kids and why I'm teaching kids to defend themselves against bullying and why I'm trying to find different strategies and to keep the fighting as the last resort of dealing with bullying. I always encourage kids, use your voice first. Ask help from adults. And only if it's needed, with, capital letter, it's needed to fight back. But the lesson it's not how to fight, it's to learn to fight only if it's needed. And that's my why behind the anti-bullying self-defense programs. That's why I want to teach kids to learn from my mistake and to understand that, yes, fighting, I would say most of the time, not fighting is the hardest part. The hardest part is to speak up, is to use your voice, communicate your boundaries, to communicate what you are okay with and what you are not okay with, especially with kids. Two kids, one, making fun of the other one, he might say it's fun just because they see the other ones laughing around. One of the kid perceives the situation as funny, while the other one feels, that he's making fun of and he feels bad about himself. But till the moment I communicate how it makes me feel that situation, the other kid might not know that your joke makes me feel bad about myself. And I know so many situations that they were labeled as bullying. And with a simple word, stop, everything stopped. No punches needed, no kicks needed. Nobody was hit with any branch. And using the voice, I will say, is probably the hardest things that we can do sometimes. And that's the reason behind anti-bullying.
How long does it take for a kid to feel that level of confidence, being shedding this fear of speaking up and being okay, feeling safe enough?
Well, it's a very good question. I get this question very often from parents. Every parent asks me the question, how long for my son? How long for my daughter till we see some results? From experience, I cannot say a number. I can say a range.
Okay.
Someone 2 to 3 months, to see some changes in the level of confidence of a kid.
Okay.
But I will say each kid learns differently and each child, develops differently. Like in any context, like, for example, at school, some kids, they grasp very quickly, math. Others, they grasp very quickly, literature. Um, some kids, they come to the gym and in 1 month, they understand what it's about. Others, they need more time. Uh, I always explain to the parents, regardless of how long it takes, we as, educators in the child's life, parents, teachers, coaches, we just have to be patient and to trust the process.
Mm.
Um, I see situations somewhere in between. Some kids, they come, they understand, and they very quickly, start to communicate their boundaries. I see situations where the kid comes, understands what's happening on the mat, but there's a delay on when it comes to implementation in real life.
Mm.
I know what I have to do. Theoretically, I know what I have to do. Practically, I know how to fight. But when it comes to facing your bully, they are still not confident, to speak up. And it takes a while till they do that one. And even after I speak up, once I communicate the boundary, it's not written in stone. Nobody will cross that boundary anymore. I still have to defend it. I still have to reinforce it verbally or sometimes physically. To put it simple, it depends from one child to another. Some of them, they need 2-3 months. Some of them, they might need a year. Regardless of how long it takes, we as parents or teachers or coaches, we just have to be patient and trust the process.
Which is reasonably short. 2-3 months is not very long. Even a year is not very long to get to this point.
Well, long
Depends.
depends.
If you
It's
have an
different from one
active
person to
bully
another.
on your back.
Yeah,
Yeah, of course.
yeah.
Of course. I noticed when I was fighting, especially starting from the purple belt. So for those who don't know, we have the white belt, the blue belt, the purple, the brown, and then we have the black. But I noticed some big shifts starting from the purple belt. Each time I was fighting one of them, they don't give up. You don't give up in jiu-jitsu. You get to learn that it's an art of perseverance. Do you confirm that?
Uh, Disagree. Agree to disagree.
Okay. I'm interested.
Yeah. Everybody has a breaking point.
Okay.
Yes. I will say all the time depends on who you're fighting against and
Mhm.
for how long are you fighting against.
Ah.
Uh,
Okay.
for how long? Yeah. We always make fun, and I always tell the students, if we get tired, we will all lose.
Mhm.
I can take the most technical athlete in the jiu-jitsu and I make him tired, he's going to lose. I can take the fastest one, I make him tired, he's going to lose.
Okay.
I can take the, I don't know, smartest one,
Uh-huh.
I'm going to make him tired, he's going to make poor decisions that will lead to losing.
Ah. Okay.
Everybody has a breaking point.
Okay.
Everybody has a breaking point. Yes, the uh, thinking pattern or a behavioring pattern that I notice on the mat is the superior belts refusing to tap to the inferior belts. So, like you mentioned, a purple belt it's above the blue belt, so he's going to do whatever it takes not to tap to a blue belt or a white belt.
Okay.
But we go back to the first one of the first questions that you asked me. Am I checking my ego here?
Uh-huh.
Because if I really want to learn, I'm going to put myself in dangerous situations. And that's when a situation becomes a win-win for the blue belt and for the purple belt, and not a lose-lose. For example, a lose-lose situation in this one is a more advanced athlete with a less advanced athlete. I'm going to constantly, tap him.
Yeah.
I don't learn anything. Technically, I didn't improve. And he didn't understand anything because he doesn't have the level of knowledge that I have.
Okay.
So it's a lose-lose situation for both. He gets frustrated, he doesn't understand anything, and the chances of, not showing up next class are going up.
Uh-huh.
While this guy, only proved that, oh, I'm better than you. I can win over you repeatedly. And I didn't make myself vulnerable to learn.
Uh,
What I encourage them is to do is higher belts should help the lower belts. I'm a big believer of each one teach one.
mm,
Everybody should teach someone else. So if I'm a superior belt, I'm going to fight at your level, and I'm going to let you implement whatever you whatever you know, up to the point where I feel in danger,
mhm.
and only then I'm going to start fighting.
Okay.
And that's when both of them they are going to learn from that fight. This guy learns that up to one point my technique works. From here on, I need to work more. This guy knows that if I let him climb that ladder all the way up, I might not be able to defend, even if I'm technically better than him. But if I know where to stop, I can fight back. We call this one putting yourself in uncomfortable situations,
Mm.
making yourself vulnerable.
Yeah.
And there's a spectrum of vulnerability that you can expose yourself to in jiu-jitsu.
It's very interesting. That makes me understand that is it the point of jujitsu is to become a turtle?
A turtle, if it comes to the journey,
Yeah.
probably yes. Yes, because it's a very slow journey.
Yeah.
It's a very slow journey. Yeah, yeah. Um, and yes, if I have to think about fighting, the first thing that you learn in jiu-jitsu is to turtle up, kind of to close up in a shell, to be able to survive.
Uh-huh.
Because once you create a very strong shelf around you that cannot be penetrated by all the attacks possible, and you are comfortable in surviving, that's when you're going to fight back.
Okay.
That's when you are going to be able to calm down your mind
Mm.
and to find out a way of the bad situation that you are in the fight. Yeah, I like to use the analogy of jiu-jitsu and a turtle. It's a long journey. We have to go slowly like a turtle. And at the beginning, you have to become very good at defending yourself,
Yeah. Yeah.
closing up in the turtle shell.
Hmm. And how did you notice, or do you have um, a tool? What's your strategy to make the kids don't give up and get along with this long journey? How do you make them
Well,
go on?
stick.
Uh-huh.
How we make them stick around.
Yeah.
Uh, when we coach kids, when we teach jiu-jitsu to kids, we always try to gamify the class to make games around fighting. We refrain ourselves from using the fighting word
Mhm.
and more like playing word. Jiu-jitsu, we play jiu-jitsu, we don't fight jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Uh, we all, our coaching staff in Absoluto, we all the time kind of a philosophy of teaching. We tell them, kids, they don't want to train with us.
Mm.
Kids, they don't want to learn from us. But for sure, kids, they would like to play with us.
Mm.
So it's on us as coaches to make the class entertaining. I can take a technique and I can present it in a technical way that will be making sense, for an adult.
Mm.
And I can take the same technique and, presenting it in a fun way, associated maybe with some animal games or some video games,
Mm.
and the kids will love it.
Okay.
And it's the same technique, it's just presented in a different way depending on the audience that we have on the mat.
Mm.
Coach should be fluid in his approach. Some students, they are more serious and they are looking for more technical. So if I'm working with a jiu-jitsu competitor, I cannot use funny names. He needs to get very technical. While if it's someone at the beginning of the journey, especially kids, we want to connect jiu-jitsu with, their passion for video games, passion for games in general.
Okay.
We will try to make it as fun as possible.
And what age is more suitable for a kid to start jujitsu, in your opinion?
From experience, somewhere around the age of 5,
Okay.
uh, kids they start to benefit from jujitsu training. We tried earlier, like 4 and 5, 3 and 4. We noticed that they don't fully benefit from training, while 5, 6, I would say it's a good age to expose kids to jujitsu. But again, mm, I would say, the physiological age and the natural age are kind of different. I can have a 5 years old kid that's still not matured, so he still, needs assistance on the mat, and I can have a 4 years old that behaves like a 7 years old.
Mm.
So we all the time try the class to see if they like it, if they can follow some of the instructions on the mat. And if that one happens, we can start at 4. We even have 3.5 years old students, but they behave like a 7 years old.
So the key is the attention.
5, yes, it's the attention. It's the attention, and mainly if they can follow structure and instruction. That's that. Every class, regardless if it's kids or adults, our main goal in the academy and for coaches is to keep the class safe.
Mm.
And if the kid follows the instruction, he's going to be safe and will keep others safe. I'll give you a very simple example. If I ask 20 kids to run around the mat in a structured way, and one decides not to follow that instruction and stops in the middle of the running, he exposes himself to injury while exposing others to injuries. So we want to make sure that when the coach says, okay, everybody runs around the mat for 5 laps, everybody will run and nobody will stop. Or everybody walks around, nobody will run while everybody is walking. So safety is priority number 1 on the mat. And when we talk about kids, we notice that around the age of 5, they are able to follow instructions and understand what safety means.
Okay. Okay. Which makes me ask, what's the oldest you had starting jujitsu?
Well, there's not an upper limit.
Okay.
Currently, I would say the oldest student that I'm teaching, it's 55.
Okay.
Just started 2 months ago.
Yeah. So
So
there's no really
funny one.
limits.
5 to 55.
5 to
There are
55.
no real. I would say that the real limit, it's self-imposed. I am too old for this. There is no such thing.
No, there is not.
No.
I think I started, when did I start? 3 years ago? 45 years old? It's not that young.
Yeah. Yesterday, we had a 45-year-old student joining our beginners class.
Oh, that's nice.
After maybe more than 5 years of just watching jiu-jitsu classes, because he is bringing his son to jiu-jitsu classes and constantly sees me how I'm teaching, his son.
Uh-huh.
And I kept telling him, when you are ready, we are ready.
Yeah.
And yesterday he said, I'm ready, coach. I'm going to step on the mat.
Beautiful.
And he put on the uniform and he stepped on the mat. And then at the end of the class, he's like, wow, it's a very big difference between seeing jiu-jitsu and doing jiu-jitsu. And to quote him, he said, like, over the years, watching you teaching my son and, having fun on the mat, teaching, inspiring with them, I look at myself and I say, like, physically, I'm bigger than you. And I think I'm stronger than you. I think I have a fighting chance. And at the end of the class, we were sparring a little bit. He finished the class and he was like, wow, it's the big difference between seeing jiu-jitsu and doing jiu-jitsu. And I was so ignorant, thinking, that I have a fighting chance against you. It's like, well, that's why I encourage people, to at least one time step on the mat. Because that's when jiu-jitsu will ground you, bring you back on earth. Yeah. Otherwise, you build scenarios in your mind and you think, I'm better than you. I can do better than you. And suddenly reality happens. Humbling happens.
Yes. It's humbling and also strengthening, because I remember in my experience, and I wasn't aware of how much fear I was experimenting. I had just noticed that I had too much aggressivity. I couldn't speak calmly when feeling threatened. And going on the mat and fighting other women mainly made me realize that I was calmer. I could even be aware of my automatisms and how scared sometimes I was when somebody was crossing my boundaries, how to respond to that. So
Mhm.
at some point, you're not I was feeling that I was not fighting somebody else. I was fighting my fear, my own fear.
Mm. We all fight that. We all fight that. There's a saying in martial arts. Well, a fight should be one on one, right? Like when I'm facing an opponent, should be one on one.
Yeah.
But if I doubt myself,
Mm.
I I am outnumbered.
Yeah.
The fight becomes 2-on-1. It becomes me versus myself and me against the opponent in front of me.
Yeah.
I it's yeah, kids it's a good example. Kids, they come to me and say that, coach, probably you don't feel any fear when you go to competitions, or you don't feel any fear. I said, I'm still afraid. I'm still scared. I just learn how to manage it better. That's what we learn. I I'm not scared of certain situations, but I'm still scared in most of the situation. And I always tell them, fear, it's a good thing, and it's going to be with you for the rest of your life. Don't look at fear as something negative. Fear, it's energy.
Mm.
Gives you energy. Fear keeps you alive. You just have to learn how to direct that energy, how to use that energy. You can use that fear to freeze,
Yeah.
or you can use that fear to fight back,
Mm-hmm.
or you can use that fear, to create something.
Mm.
Fear is just energy, and it's going to be there with you all the time. So when it comes to jiu-jitsu, there are a lot of, fears, that we bring on the mat. Fear of getting hurt, fear of being vulnerable, fear of being exposed, fear of looking, bad in front of my feet, or in front of my peers, in front of my parents. Think about how many scenario goes through the mind of a child that trains hard, and then he wants to go to a competition where in the stands there's going to be hundreds of people, and he perceives that everybody's looking at him and everybody's judging him.
Mm.
He perceives that his friends are looking at him and judging him, or parents looking at him and judging him, or coach looking at him and judging him. Now, if he has to face all those fears, there's going to be no performance on the mat.
Mm.
The same thing happens in a bullying situations. If I perceive the other person, superior to me, better than me, stronger than me, it means that kind of subconsciously I put myself down.
Mm.
And I always think, why bother, speak up to myself if, nobody's going to support me in this journey?
Mm.
Fear is going to be there all the time. It's on us to accept that and to learn how to guide that fear.
Yeah, yeah. Because mechanically, what you are saying also, and what I experienced, is that when you go on the mat and you are touching another body and you are confronting the brain just simply, the fear lowers just mechanically, because you're
Yes.
touching somebody else. You are pushing, you are feeling some strength against you that you are resisting. So the brain is also getting used to that. So the anxiety lowers.
Well, like in my opinion, that's like I'm not a psychologist, but what I notice is that if I let my mind wander, most of the time it's going to come with negative scenarios.
Yeah.
So I have to kind of put in an active effort
Mm-hmm.
to bring it back towards the positive.
Yeah.
Same thing I notice when I'm sparring or when I'm training. If I have to face an opponent that I do not know anything about him,
Uh-huh.
I just look at him. It's the first time when I see him. And I know that he wants to win and I want to win.
Yeah.
He potentially wants to hurt me. I potentially want to hurt him.
Yeah.
If I mentally tell myself, oh, he looks bigger,
Mm.
I already made myself smaller.
Yeah.
He looks stronger. Mentally, I accepted that I might be weaker.
Uh-huh.
Uh, he might train for longer time. Mean that I do not acknowledge my journey or where I am in my journey.
Mm-hmm.
And I ask, the uh, kids, when you face situations like this, breathe first. Take a couple of breaths and tell yourself, I'm going to do okay.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is okay. I'm going to do okay. He's just another human being. I'm not another human being. He has two hands. I have two hands. He knows Jiu-Jitsu. I know Jiu-Jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
Let's play.
Let's play.
Yeah, let's play. And not let's fight.
Mm-hmm.
When I use the word fight, has a aggressive connotation.
Yeah.
When I use play, my mind shifts into a playful mode. And I become more creative than when I think about, fighting. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, it seems logical to have this intention. Okay. Thank you for that.
Thank you very much. Sure. I
Uh,
hope it will help people,
I
look at fighting in a different way.
I hope so. I hope so. But there's something I noticed. As I'm passionate with the subconscious programming as a therapist, as a hypnotherapist. I noticed something with my colleagues on the mat. Some of them were after at least the blue belt, were walking, some of them like bears, some of them like gorillas. And
Okay.
one of the girls I was fighting with, she used her legs like she was an octopus. She kept keeping on with her legs. I thought she had 8 legs. Um, at some point, and some of them had also the fighting style of a cat. So I was thinking, when we reach those levels, those range of mastery, I was thinking maybe our subconscious and all the moves are somehow related to animal moves, make our subconscious relate to those animals. And if you know about that, people, when you meet someone, um, the subconscious, we meet first subconscious to subconscious. So this
Okay.
is why, for example, you will meet very little black belts fight or being being bullied outside, because
Okay.
somehow the bully feels that this person is not scared, has
Mhm.
body language of someone who is super confident, because indeed he knows how to fight back. So maybe I was thinking this jujitsu is a natural subconscious reprogramming us into radiating the energy of those animals with their strength. Did you
Well,
notice
I
that?
said, yeah, it's I love it. I love this question. I see this in two ways.
Okay.
I'm looking at martial arts for a long time, and not only jiu-jitsu, most of the martial arts, they have some styles, that they imitate, different animals,
Uh-huh.
and especially, in karate.
Okay.
Jiu-jitsu is not far from that one. Jiu-jitsu is not far. Like, you'll hear so many techniques named by or guards in jiu-jitsu. Guard means, for those of you that don't know what means, the fighter at the bottom fights from the back against a standing opponent.
Mm-hmm.
So they use their legs from the back like a spider
Yes.
or like an octopus.
Uh-huh.
Those are guards. It's called octopus guard or spider guard, squid guard, worm guard. They're like animals. Looking at the learning curve of a student, when the student first comes to jiu-jitsu, it's kind of a copy-paste process. He copies techniques from me. We both look the same. We both have, two hands, two legs, and we kind of moving the same way. He keeps learning from me as a coach, but once he understands, so white belt level means copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. I'm teaching you as a coach how to do the A letter, B letter, C letter, and so on, the way I know as a coach.
Mm-hmm.
From blue belt and up, you start to write. But your handwriting doesn't look my handwriting.
Mm-hmm.
We both know the same letters. So handwriting starts to look different from blue belt and up. From purple and up, the way you express yourself in writing, it's different than the way I express myself in writing.
Mm-hmm.
That's when styles are coming in, which means your physical abilities, your physical attributes will kind of start to look more like a spider, more like a squid, more like a worm. While for me, I'm going to look more like a sloth because I move very, very slowly. So, and yes, even the fighters, they are nicknamed based on, on their style of fighting.
Okay.
Yeah. Regarding the subconscious and the way, let's say, an attacker will perceive me as a person, confidence, it's always, projected outside.
Mm.
And what are the signs, of the signs that will tell to a potential attacker, that I'm a confident person before me even talking with you? Non-verbal communication,
Mm-hmm.
posture,
Mm.
the way you carry yourself, the way you make eye contact, the way you speak, the way you keep your senses, working. I'm not sure if you know, but before being a full-time coach, I worked as a police officer for a very long time. And I had access to lots of studies. And one of them was inmates asked to pick the next target only by looking at videos of people walking on the street. 10 out of 10 inmates, they picked targets that they were not aware of their surroundings or that they looked, they were not presenting themselves as confident.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever you have a slouched posture, you cover your head with a hoodie, or you wear headphones on the street, or you wear sunglasses and you don't check your surroundings, you increase your chances to become a target.
Mm.
On the opposite side, if I have a straight posture, straight back, keep my head up, look left and right, make eye contact with the people on the street. I'm not wearing headphones, I'm not wearing sunglasses, and I'm aware of everything that happens. The chances of someone picking on me are decreasing because they all the time they're looking, for an easy fight.
Yeah.
They're looking for an easy target, not someone that is going to resist them, not someone that they are going to lose to.
Yeah.
So before us, talking, there's a signal that, my posture, my eye contact will send around and say, I'm aware of what's happening around, and I'm confident that I can stand my ground if you are intruding it.
Yeah.
That's how I look at the animals and in the subconscious and non-verbal communication.
Yeah. Nonverbal communication is 93% of our communication. Huh? It's only 7%
Yes,
goes out of our mouth. Huh?
that's true.
Words.
I'm a big believer of this one.
Yeah.
Well, I always give examples of it's funny that the more I learn it, the more I learn to fight and understand what fighting is, the less I used it.
Mm.
And just because, my posture, my attitude, my demeanor send, that message that, nope, there's no room for negotiation here. And I'm talking right now, especially on the police field.
Yeah.
Uh, when, as a police officer, rarely you interact with people at their best in life. Most of the time, you interact with people at their lowest in life.
Yeah.
And aggressiveness is on the table all the time. I always tell them aggressiveness is on a spectrum and it's going to exist in your life like fear exists in your life. Now, I can interact with someone, that's verbally aggressive, or I can interact with someone that's physically aggressive.
Uh-huh.
And it's on me to de escalate that situation.
Mm.
And if I go there with my mind prepared all the time, I'm going to fight this person, most likely the fight will happen. And when a fight happens, there's going to be some sort of damage on both sides. But if I go over there with the mind, I'm ready to fight, but I don't want to, my main goal is to de escalate this one.
Mm.
That's when I started to use fighting less and less and less and less. And just, a simple eye contact, a calm and confident voice,
Mm.
a strong posture will de escalate 9 out of 10 situations. Learn how to fight because you have to sometimes, but don't look for fights. That's the power of, let's say, nonverbal communication that I learned over the time.
Yeah. You said something very interesting about people who are targets for attacks somehow are not attentive to their environment. So it's like
Mhm.
you are telling me somehow that focus and attention are key. But I noticed, even in my case, I noticed that some of us are not um, helped. We have some issues focusing, and because the mind can go, and some of the kids even are known to be and adults to have a deficit of attention. Do you have experience? You
I'm
have.
one of them.
You're one of them, of
Yeah.
course, of course. So, do you have observed maybe a real impact on this ability of focus and attention? Obviously, yes, because I saw you. You're super attentive. When you are looking to someone, you're very focused. But how long does it take? And do you see a progress with kids in this matter?
Mm, I'm not a doctor to say that.
Mm.
Um, I hear it from the parents. Lately, what happens, we have more parents bringing their kids to Jiu-Jitsu because the doctors are recommending Jiu-Jitsu,
Mm.
especially when it comes to attention or focus. Um, my personal belief, it's probably if the, newer, I would say, medical terms such as ADHD
Mm.
will have been when I was a teenager
Ah.
or a kid, I will have been put on the spectrum on that one. Um, I consider myself on the spectrum right now. I have hyper focus when it comes to certain subjects, and I have no interest at all when it comes to
Other.
certain subjects. Um, I guess this is what led me, to study more and to try to understand how people are learning and made the difference, in my teaching style. And I've learned, that some people, they learn more, they learn better by listening, others by seeing, others by doing. I am a doing guy, so I'm using my hands all the time. I have to do things with my hands. I don't retain any kind of information if someone's talking.
Okay.
I I need to see. And over the time I realized that it's a combination of all, and one is dominant. I can listen to someone, I can see someone demonstrating, but if I don't do it, I'm not going to retain that information. Kids that they come to Jiu-Jitsu, they have to slow down. And we always tell them, slow down to learn fast. We need to slow down to learn fast. When we learn something, we have to learn it slow at the beginning. Fast, it's a result of repetition, but the repetition has to be slow. And there's a saying, like uh, in martial arts in general, slow it's smooth, smooth it's fast. We need to slow down to learn fast. With repetition, the repetition becomes smoother, and the smoother it comes, it becomes faster. And I believe in this process because the kids, they come, and Jiu-Jitsu, when it comes to fighting, puts you in the moment. So you have to think about, what do I have to do right now? Jiu-Jitsu doesn't let your mind wander. Oh, right now I'm fighting with you, but I'm thinking of what I'm going to have for dinner. And if that one happens, you're going to lose that one. And because it's physically active, puts the kids in the moment. And we see kids, from very little attention span, 20, 30 seconds over the class, improving, sitting more still, focusing, making eye contact for longer, uh, waiting more patiently for their turn, um, being more focused. You can see their focus in their eyes when they start to spar with each other. I know it doesn't seem much, especially if you've never been exposed to fighting. What does it mean for a kid to fight with another kid in a controlled environment like we have in Jiu-Jitsu? Parents, they keep saying, I want to see my child more focused. I want to see my child, being more confident. But confidence and focus, for me, it's all the time contextual. In which context do you want to see your child more focused? In which context do you want to see your child more disciplined? In which context do you want to see your child more confident? And we narrow it down to self-defense. I want to see my child being more confident, accepting, his boundaries, uh, standing up and speaking up for themselves and so on. And they come to the gym. A parent tell him, like, I don't know how to fight, so I'm going to take you to the coach, and coach is going to teach you how to fight. But then they start to see other benefits. It starts to focus more, has more structure, becomes more disciplined, follows rules better, uh, knows how to interact with other kids. We all the time tell them, in Jiu-Jitsu, we don't fight to hurt each other. In Jiu-Jitsu, we fight with each other to help each other become better.
Mm.
We don't fight to hurt the bully. We fight to control the bully, to control his fear, to control his aggressiveness. We don't try to hurt ourselves. We don't try to hurt the other one. And then the kids, they start to become more respectful. Some of them, they become more empathetic. I don't believe, that there are kids with mean intentions. There are just kids, that they don't understand that through their actions can hurt others.
Yeah.
It's funny because not only kids that they want to learn how to defend themselves, they come to our academy. There are kids that they are labeled bullies, that they come to our academy to learn how to control their aggressiveness in a school format or, other group settings. That's how I look at Jiu-Jitsu. Like, kind of forces you to slow down, to be in the moment. And if I manage to do that one for 30 seconds this class, and then 31 seconds for the next class, 32 seconds for the next class, and you keep showing up, That's going to help you on the mat and off the mat. It's going to have, transferability in off the mat, uh, activities. We all the time tell them, if you get better here in the jiu-jitsu class by focusing and listening to the coaches, being respectful, and this one, for sure, this one will be transferable in the academic format, like school.
That gives a lot of hope to a lot of parents, I believe. I noticed one beautiful thing in jujitsu. The people who come to jujitsu are usually very different from very different backgrounds. And I'm sure you're going
Yes,
to
indeed.
confirm this. But somehow they all have, I don't know, some common thing. Maybe the value. I don't know what's common. Can you explain to me what's common with the people who come to jujitsu?
Well, I'll give you an example of when I started jiu-jitsu back in Romania.
Uh-huh.
That's 20 years ago. And at that time, I was a police officer.
Mhm.
And I was looking for some, let's say, non-violent solutions to fighting. Because I noticed, that the way I was taught in the military school was more like striking, and that was leading to injuries and was leading, to lawsuits. So I was looking for some non-violent solutions. Going on the mat and meeting the community. So I'm talking about a class of 100, 120 people, all coming from different walks of life. And the more I sparred, I saw, it was very, very interesting. Some of them were actors. Some of them, they were artists. Some of them, they were ITs. Some of them, they were CEOs of one of the biggest companies in Romania. I was a police officer.
Mm.
I was fortunate enough to meet judges and prosecutors in the mat, on the same mat. But also, I met people on the other side of the law,
Okay.
and we were sparring together. And I kept asking myself, what brings us all together, on the mat? At that time was fighting. But the older I got, I think the only thing that brought us together at that time was looking to become better as a human being. Like looking, to understand myself better, to understand the other ones better. And I'm fortunate enough to build some now 20 years long, relationships with those people from all walks of life. And when I asked them why did you do jiu-jitsu? Why do you still training jiu-jitsu? And said, it helps me be a better person. It helps me be a better partner. It helps me, understand the one in front of me a little bit better. It helps me understand how both of us can be very, very vulnerable and very, very fragile. I can easily hurt you, and you can easily hurt me, but that's not the purpose. How we can help each other. That's the whole purpose of jiu-jitsu. I will say, if I have to say it in one sentence, jiu-jitsu brings us together because we are all looking to become better persons.
Mm.
That's my personal conclusion.
I'm hearing you very, very deeply because you said some interesting things. If I may add to that, what I understand. First, you said that you saw people from the justice world, the justice people, the
Mm-hmm.
judges, prosecutors, policemen, and you say you had the other side also coming
Mm-hmm.
same place. And in my perspective as a therapist, people you see there is no good or bad people. There is only
No, there
emotional
are,
damage.
yes,
And there
more
is
or less
only voila, there is only
levels
levels
of
of
this.
emotional damage. Some emotional damages are very, 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 very deep. So the people
True.
are cannot stand are incapable of getting out of it. without help and without intention. But there is one thing that, I mean, if you are a policeman, if you're a judge, if you're a prosecutor, you have some kind of ideal of justice, right? You're fighting.
There's
You have
yes.
an intention of justice. And on the other hand, you have other people who are not following the rules, but at some point it's their part of fighting the injustice, the unfairness, the unfair game that we are all dealing with. And
Mm.
in the psychotherapy um, scope, we all have kind of wounds. And one of them is very famous. It's the injustice wound.
True.
So at some point, we have been hurt emotionally with unfairness. Like somebody, any story you heard about someone who has been convicted or accused wrongly will
Hmm.
have an injustice and fairness wound.
True.
And
Yeah.
this brings a lot of anger. It brings a lot of frustration. It brings a lot of rage. And we can decide to act. It's a choice then. You can go for um, enforcing the more fairness and work for the, let's say, the justice part, and you become
Yes.
somebody who fights for the rights of people. Or you can say, it's dead. I cannot do anything, so I'm gonna use this for me. Can, does it make sense to you?
Yes, it makes a lot of sense. These are, let's say, again, I'm not a therapist. There's conclusions, that I reached over the time. Uh, when I was a police officer, I was looking, at things, black and white.
Mm,
And then I try to distance myself and say there are no good people or bad people. There are just different people. We all come from different backgrounds and we have different previous experiences that, let's say, made us what we are today.
mm,
But also, I believe that there's a daily choice that we make where we can allow those previous experiences to um, define us, to break us, or we can allow those previous experiences to make us, a kinder person,
yeah.
a more respectful person, a more empathetic person.
Mm.
Uh, I always try to understand, like that's the reason that I ask why, because I want to see where you are coming from.
Mm.
Because my previous relationships, my previous experiences might not be the best example for you.
Mm.
Your previous experiences, might not be the best ones for me. My role as a coach is to try to connect with you where you are right now, previous experiences that brought you up to this point, and how Jiu-Jitsu can help impact, your life in a positive way.
Mm.
I believe all those people, let's say on the blue side and on the red side, they were using Jiu-Jitsu as a self-help tool to become a little bit better, to feel a little bit better. Um, I don't think anyone who had, any bad intentions of using, Jiu-Jitsu in a negative way to hurt others.
Mm.
I always believe, that, yeah, at that time, they were all looking, for a way to make themselves feel better and become a little bit better. And Jiu-Jitsu was like a tool in their life. For me, it's still a tool that helps me feel better and become better.
You said about humility and respect. So
Yes,
at some point, you are saying that jujitsu is a way for us to make us more understanding. What's the spirit at the end?
at the end, I think when you put yourself at least one time into a fight,
Mm.
and I highly recommend not to be on the street, to come to Jiu-Jitsu and try it out. You will understand how easily you can get hurt or how easy you can hurt others.
Mm.
Uh, it's easy to hurt. It's harder, to help someone become stronger, more confident. And when you start it from a place of love, place of uh, gratitude, place of humility, that's when I believe, good things will happen. The opposite is true. When I just try to let my ego take over and do things because, I want to prove myself, I want to show that I'm the best, we are going to reap what we sow. I will say, if I have to resume Jiu-Jitsu to two traits, it's going to be humility and respect. Teaches people, to be humble, and teaches people to be a little bit more respectful. And as a result of that one, they become kinder persons.
So that's the spirit. To be kinder.
Yeah, I tell the
Truly.
kids, we learn how to be the kind warriors.
Yeah.
And we cannot be kind if we don't use kind words to ourselves and to others.
So it's like becoming a jiu-jitsu panda.
Kind of.
Instead of kung fu panda. Did you try kung fu, by the way?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't try it.
No, you're not going to explain to me this mystery of kung fu. Okay.
No, I didn't try kung fu.
Very. That was Coach Remus. Really, I am so blessed to have this time with you today. I learned a lot. You have no idea how much you made me understand why I was so amazed by Jiu-Jitsu. I hope a lot of moms will be able to hear this episode because somehow they kind of have a big influence in families and for kids.
Yes, they do.
They do.
Yes, they do. As a coach, whenever I, let's say, interact with parents, I notice that the decision maker in the training, it's 99% of the time is the mom.
It's the mom, yeah.
Yeah, it's the mom. The moms, they pray. And when I ask myself why, I went back in time and I noticed that my mom was the one, preparing my stuff for the training. My mom was the one taking me to school. My mom was the one taking me to training and so on. I look around in the gym, 90% of the parents that they bring their kids to the gym are the moms.
Yeah.
And then I'm a parent too.
Yeah.
Who's taking my daughter to swimming classes? 9 out of 10 is my wife.
Yeah.
And I cannot, stay, to get to the child, I have to talk with the mom. To get to the kid comes to the class and he has one goal in mind, to have fun.
Yeah.
The mom has a different goal. The mom has the nurturing goal. Yes, she has the educating goal. She wants to see some progress. And the coach is in between. Yeah. How we are going to meet all these ones. And one of the first things that I like to do is to sit down with the parents and to explain them and to kind of set the expectations right from the beginning and tell them, okay, it's going to be a process. It's not going to happen overnight. Be patient. These will be some milestones that we have to follow. Kid wants to train. That's good. Wants to have fun. That's good. It means it's an activity that he likes to do. And if he keeps doing it and he keeps having fun, he's going to become consistent. If he keeps showing up, then we can guarantee the progress that you're looking for. So I explain to the parents, be patient, be patient, be patient. It's a process. It's a process. One day when we lose hope, that's when we see the progress.
That's That's beautiful.
We say, when is going to happen? When is going to happen? And one day when we stop asking ourselves, when is going to happen? Boom,
It comes.
magic. It comes.
That's
But only comes if we trust the process.
trust the process. Well, my hope today is that a lot of mom will see that. You have been a real teacher for me. Thank you very much. And who knows? Maybe we'll get to know each other more in the future. And I don't know what the future will bring, but for sure, I'm confident that all the kids that will come to you will feel what I felt today, and hopefully they will understand why.
Well, thank you very much for the invitation. I'm honored, to share, my lessons and my mistakes. I hope as many people will learn from my mistakes and from my lessons without, paying the price that I paid. And I wish everyone, to stay safe and to learn how to stay safe, because it's easy to do that one. And Jiu-Jitsu can be a very, very useful tool that will teach you how to stay safe, but also will teach you about other things, in life, such as confidence, kindness, respect. There's a lot of lessons that can be learned from that one.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for allowing me to share my experience and lessons with you. Thank you very much.
Thanks to you, Coach Primus. See you soon.
See you soon. Take care.